MHA Swear Jars by belicorn123, Chapter 3. Izuku's POV. In the end, it was Denki who told Aizawa that what was going on, and honestly not a single one of the class members blamed him. It had been a week, and Denki was by far getting the worst of Aizawa's annoyance, mostly because he actively had to flirt badly with Aizawa's son to get to put a coin in his jar. Aizawa had walked in on them making out in the back of the classroom, and apparently that had been the final straw. He had looked about ready to kill Denki for not making it official. They had very much made it official months ago, but Izuku guessed Shinso hadn't exactly told his dad yet. "It's for Eri, please don't hurt me," Denki screeched, and everyone in the room saw the realization and understanding dawn on Aizawa's face. He dropped Denki, clearly took a second to calm himself, and then walked to the front of the room. "So," Aizawa sighed, visibly collecting himself, "who found out what I've been using the swear jar money for?" The class stayed quiet and Izuku dropped his head, unable to admit he'd eavesdropped on the teachers. "We overheard you talking to Mike," Kirishima said eventually, clearly realizing no one else knew what to say. Izuku looked over at him in thanks. At least they would get in trouble together. "So you're telling me that instead of just giving me money to spend on Eri, you decided to make all your teachers and many other students' lives a living hell to have an excuse to put money in your jars?" "Well, when you put it like that, I wouldn't say we made people's lives a living hell. A bunch of people enjoyed Jiro singing, and there were definitely a few eager sign-ups to Todoroki's club," Uraraka pointed out. "I heard Cementos use some of the slang Mina taught him in his class with Class 1B, Jiro added, remembering overhearing the other class talk about it. "I think it was the best part of their day. And with how many apologies Hagakure gave at the cafeteria, the way she stood in people's way to be able to make it work forced them to pay attention to her, which was the whole point," Mina added, grinning at Jiro and Hagakure both, seeming excited to point out how the plan worked out well. "And Sarah's joke made a crying kid feel better," Hagakure added. "I didn't know you saw that," Sarah admitted quietly, before jumping onto the trend as well. "Ida's tenseness resulted in protecting Mina getting injured. If he hadn't noticed the training wall was at risk of collapse, she could have gotten seriously hurt. Tokoyami's talk of darkness resulted in the formation of a club of quirk users who are advantaged by or create shadows. They will create an impeccable hero team," Ida points out. "Midoriya's over-apologizing made some third year realize how wrong he had been when he insulted someone, and then had to explain to Midoriya that it wasn't Midoriya's fault because it was his," Tokoyami added. "Kacha may have been threatening murder, but he started doing it when he was doing something nice for people as well, and they were finally understanding how he actually means it," Izuku added with all the confidence of a person who actually knew Bakugo wouldn't hurt him. No one else could have said it safely, but Bakugo just huffed at Midoriya. "I guess I have to say some mushy shit too now, so fine. Koda stopped some crows who have been repeatedly swooping everyone who went near them, because he spent so much time with them they told him about it," Bakugo gritted out, sounding almost like the words hurt him, but not retracting it. "Aoyama shared his cheese with some of my animals, and they really appreciated it," Koda said quietly, looking around awkwardly. "Shinso and Denki getting caught and having no backlash about being gay meant my LGBTQIA+ club started flooding with a lot more comfortable queers who had previously been too scared to tell people," Aoyama declared. Kirishima unintentionally kept a trans boy from hurting himself because of how much Kirishima called him manly and reinforced his gender. "I called everyone manly, but I'm glad it helped him. Also, Uraraka's apparent determination encouraged a second year to ask a classmate out, and it worked out for them." "So, Sensei, it wasn't all bad," Izuku finished, proud of how his class had found ways to help people even while trying to help Eri as well. "None of you are all bad. I saw the good deeds of those who weren't a part of this as well. Momo, Sato, Ojirosu, and Shoji, well done. That goes for all of you. You managed to avoid me finding out the reason for your actions for over a week. You worked as a team to help Eri, and there was minimal actual harm done." Izuku stared at his teacher. Aizawa had praised them for this? That seemed odd. Wouldn't he be yelling at them for breaking his rules? "You think I'm upset. I get it. You all broke rules, but you also knew the punishment and didn't complain when you had to accept it. You didn't harm anyone, nor did you do anything particularly bad. Although I do think the Endeavor hating club has to come to an end, Todoroki and Bakugo. You really should cool off the threats. Still, you knew what the consequences were, and you made an informed and reasonable decision." "Wait, you aren't getting us in trouble?" Izuku asked, shocked. Well, that depends. How much did you all make? Altogether, my last count was 1,795, unless anyone has any more since, Ida asked. I still owe another $1 from this morning after you counted up, Mina added. I explained the word cat to Nedzu. Add 2 on for me, Izuku called. Anyone else? Ida asked, and the class shook their head. Okay, so 1,797. And who got the most? Aizawa asked, with a tone that suggested curiosity was his main reason for asking. It is a tie between Midoriya and Jiro, Ida declared after doing some sort of mental calculation. There was a reason they had chosen Ida to keep count. Part was his lack of bias and part was his maths. Sorry, Izuku yelled, dashing to drop a coin into his jar. So don't even try, Jiro sung softly, dropping in another coin and glaring daggers at Izuku. Sorry, but I have to, Izuku replied, dropping in another coin and staring defiantly at her. Insides clash, they're calling me heartless, but I don't care anymore. I don't care, you can kiss your dreams goodbye, Jiro sung, seeming triumphant, despite the fact that she had had to come up with songs, whereas Deku needed only one word. Sorry, I don't think I will. Guess this is the hill I will die on. Woke up this morning, put my suit and tie on, walked down to the bus that I ride on. The air felt so still, I guess this is the hill, I guess this is the hill I will ride on, Jiro sung, dropping a coin in the jar with all the certainty of someone who knew a lot of songs. Aizawa, for his part, just sat down to watch how this unfolded. He clearly didn't think it was going to be short. Izuku certainly wouldn't give up. Sorry, I can't let you win. Fire burning in my blood, I've got this handled. Sorry, Jiro, Izuku laughed. He clearly had the upper hand. Think it's funny, but honey, can't run this show on your own. Another coin, another apology. Another coin, another song. Again and again. Sorry, Jiro, I think it's time you go back to focusing on your studies. Seems kind of dumb to worry about good grades when this generation's dealing with its own black plague. Sorry? Listen close, follow my instructions. There is no time for introductions. Sorry, what? I'm confused. Aren't these supposed to make sense? Izuku asked. Jiro was usually good at that. Why don't you get it? Can't you get it? Understand. Sorry, Jiro, I'm worried. What's going on? You've already done so much. So many lives you've changed. So many souls you've touched. What does that mean? But I got smarter, I got harder in the nick of time. Honey, I rose up from the dead, I do it all the time. What? Izuku asked, and Jiro's face spread with a wicked grin before she continued. You're a loser, baby, a loser. Is it too late to say sorry? Izuku asked, realization dawning on him. Jiro had played him. Unfortunately, Midoriya, I declare this tiebreaker closed as she is 3 ahead of you. The win goes to Kyoka Jiro, Ida declared, and the whole class stood cheering for her. Izuku laughed and pulled his friend into a hug. You deserve it, Izuku chuckled, pulling back and bounding to his chair in defeat. You've got about 10 minutes before your next class. I expect written apologies to all your teachers, Aizawa instructed, grumbling at them to hurry up when they didn't start immediately. Izuku chuckled. He supposed he did in fact deserve this punishment. It could have been a lot worse. Aizawa at least seemed happy, and the class was quieter than it had been all week as they wrote out their apologies. They did feel bad for the trouble they had caused, but they had done it for a good cause.